Hey folks, we're going to be talking about simplifying expressions here. So let's talk about why we simplify expressions. We want to always work with the most simplified expression when we're trying to find solutions to things because it makes it easier every time we go to maybe answer some kind of question or solve some kind of situation. So let's look at an example. Let's say I make I'm opening a coffee store and it costs me $2 for my supplies per cup of coffee. And it also costs me, I don't know, $30 in rent. And you also have to buy the lids for the cups, and those are $1 per cup of coffee. And you also have the expenses of paying an employee, which maybe you pay them $40. So obviously in this situation, if I want to figure out, okay, how much is it going to cost me to make 90 cups of coffee, then I'd have to be able to put my 90 cups of coffee in here, and I'd have to add these two things. Or I could make it a little bit more simple, and I could say, well, I want to combine some of my terms, like the amount per cup of coffee. If it costs me $2 for the cup and $1 for the lid, we're talking $3 for the cup and lid per cup of coffee. And then I've got $30 and $40 it's also costing me, so a total of $70. So now if I say, okay, I want to make, 100, I can say, well, 3 times 100 is 300 plus 70, I'm talking about 370. Or maybe I say, okay, 7,000, and I multiply and add. So you can simplify expressions to make things easier for you. So let's talk about maybe some more complex simplifying expressions. I want to go over a couple that might be a little bit more difficult. So for example, I might have something like 6n minus 2 plus 4 times 3x minus, let me change this to an x. Keep our variables the same, minus 1 plus 9. So I've got a lot going on here. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is take care of my parentheses. I think you guys learned about the distributive property last year, so I'd want to distribute here. But everything else I want to keep the same, and it'd probably be best to keep it nice and orderly. So 6x minus 2 plus, well, 4 groups of 3x's, 4 groups of 3x's. 4 groups of 3x's would be a total of 12x's, right? So plus 12x, and then I have negative 1 4 times. Well, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, and negative 1. If I have negative 1 4 times, then I have negative 4 plus 9. But I'm still not as simple as it can be. So I like to call this the box and circle method, right? So I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab all my x terms. Here's an x term. And I really want the sign in front of that also, because there's no sign here, so I know it's positive. This is also going to be positive in this case, but if it were negative, if it were subtract 12, that's the same thing as adding a negative 12, right? It'd have to decrease 12 from 6. So I want to grab the sign in front, and that's going to play in when I look at this. See how that looks like a negative 2 now when I box it in? All right, so here comes 6 and 12, here's my 18x, and then if I combine these, I have 2 negatives, 4 negatives, that's 6 negatives, and then if I have 6 negatives, 9 positives, I have 3 positives, and that's how I would have my final answer. So that's just a little video on simplifying expressions. Good luck today.